Welcome to Following On, short, sharp show. It was all going to be about India. It was all going to be about, can they really win this game? And you know what? It is still going to kind of be about that. But as we speak, New Zealand is still walking off the field. But they are walking off with a spring in their steps because Glenn Phillips, with the final ball of the day, has dismissed Virat Kohli, caught behind for 70. And this match, as it was and would have been, is very much alive. 231 for 3, India at the end of an incredible day's play. Steve Harmison.
Unbelievable day's play. Brilliant innings from Rachin Ravindra at the start of it. And you're right at the very end. Your closing comments. It's been a good day for India. But for me, with that last wicket there, it's a great day for New Zealand. India are back in this contest, and if you don't listen to the weather forecast, you'd think there's a game on here. 4 wickets happened first thing this morning, and that's been a trend that the early session in this Test match has been the one where it's been wickets. The wickets have been there for the bowlers to take. So I was thinking 2 down coming tomorrow morning. 4 wickets this morning, big movement, lavish movement the day before first session, that India would have to be at their best to survive and only lose 2 wickets in that first session to give them the best chance of putting a total on to bowl 4th innings to try and win the game. Now, if you put 2 or 3 wickets on that tomorrow morning, and I think that's India out of the game. It was a brilliant rearguard effort from Sarfraz, who looked jittery at the start, and then fantastic from one of the modern day greats, gone past 9,000 runs in Virat Kohli.
The story of the day, for much of it, had been about an incredible innings of 134 from Rachin Ravindra. Alongside Tim Southee, the two put on 137 for the 8th wicket at a time when it felt like India were battling their way back into the game, not with the bat as they did for much of the last session, but with the ball. 4 wickets in the first hour, 180 for 3, become 233 for 7. And then up stepped one of the game's golden boys. Rachin Ravindra made his debut against India in India on talkSPORT 2 back in 2021, and here he is with his first overseas century, and it was one of the best. Yeah,
it was one of the best. It really was. I thought his movements, his balance, I think at the crease, the depth of the crease he used to play the late cut shot or the sweep. And then, when the ball was tossed above the eye line in, our Ashwin's case or Kuldeep Yadav's case, his quick feet of coming down the wicket, getting to the pitch of the ball and hitting it either straight down the ground or over mid-wicket. I thought his shot selection was excellent. It really was a well-balanced, well-timed and well-executed innings, but especially for somebody who, yes, he was brought up in that part of the world, but I tell you what, there's not going to be many better overseas hundreds, especially from a New Zealand point of view. I don't think there's been a better Kiwi 100 inside India than what Rachin Ravindra showed. And that partnership with Tim Southee really took the game away from India, because John, I'm not sure about you, but I don't think India bowled that well. I thought Jadeja took a while to get into the game from Rohit Sharma's point of view, and then when he did bowl, he looked threatening. I thought Kuldeep Yadav and R. Ashwin, I don't think they would have been too happy with their performance. R. Ashwin looked totally out of rhythm. Kuldeep, every time he threw the ball above the eye line, he got hit for 6 or a 4, and they were being very, very aggressive. Siraj was expensive, and because they got bowled out for 46, I think Rohit Sharma had to use Jasprit Bumrah more than he wanted to in the first 50 overs of that innings, and then by the time he should have come back, because he really should have come back about the tail. As soon as Tim Southee come in, Jasprit Bumrah should have been warming up, and that should have been enough for Tim Southee, never mind having to bring him on. But Bumrah didn't come on, and then he didn't come on with a second new ball either. So a little bit of scrambled thinking or muddled thinking from Rohit Sharma. I'm sure there was a plan in place. I'm sure there's reasons for that. But when you talk about Rachin Ravindra, 134 of 157 balls in the Chinnaswamy in the first innings for New Zealand, and put them in a position to potentially win this first Test match.
But still, India are back in the game, aren't they? We've seen batting has got a lot easier than what they had to face in first innings, especially when you consider everything that could have possibly gone New Zealand's way, apart from one drop catch from the bat of Rishabh Pant did go New Zealand's way. What we saw today was, some of those quarter and half chances going the way of India. Half centuries from Sharma, from Kohli, from Sarfraz Khan. They've got a lot of batting to come. Question mark over Rishabh Pant's fitness, which will be a concern, but at least he's had a full day of recovery today. He's not had to bat today. Tell you what, they come out tomorrow, they should be past New Zealand's score by lunch, and if they've only lost 1 or 2 and the weather holds, then all the pressure in the world is going to be on New Zealand.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm also mindful that what that wicket's just done to that dressing room, that New Zealand dressing room and the India dressing room. I think it's a huge body blow for New Zealand, for India, and I think psychologically being bowled out for 46, going and losing Kohli right at the end of the day. How do they recover from that? What do they need? If India go on and, like you say, a bat beyond lunch, get beyond India, they've still beyond New Zealand, they've still got to go and get, for me, another 150 runs, 175 runs to potentially still win this game. So I still think that they're just in this game, but I only think they're just in this game. I don't think it's a we are back in this game. Let's have a really good night's sleep, lads. Let's get some fuel on board because we've got a test match to win tomorrow. I still think their tomorrow morning mindset will be they're a long way behind the game.
How did you feel Tim Southee went today? Because he's come into this series, he's just relinquished. They've got the tap on the shoulder or whatever. He's stepped away from the captaincy. There's a lot of criticism in New Zealand for him. But yesterday he bowled well, albeit only for 6 overs, because that's all he needed to, but he picked up a wicket. Today he batted really well, I thought. He came to the crease with New Zealand needing some experience, and he showed that. He hit one of his highest scores in Test cricket, 65, and that partnership really, you still feel with the weather around and the size of the task that is ahead of India, that was a hugely important partnership with Ravindra, and it just does show that form is temporary. When you've got that class, he might be approaching the end, but he's still got something to offer.
Oh, absolutely. I think he has got something to offer. I thought he bowled quite well. I thought he came back for a couple of overs, and he looked as though he was tired. He looked as though he had been out there for quite a while when it comes to the batting point of view. I thought with the batting side of it, I thought he showed great experience. A man who's played 100 Test matches walks out to the middle with Rachin Ravindra, who was in, obviously we've spoke about how good a form and how good he looked in the innings he played. But Tom Blundell, Glenn Phillips and Matt Henry before Tim Southee, they looked very, very sort of scratchy. They looked very fidgety. They looked frantic. They looked as though they didn't really have a plan of how they were going to score. There was a few off the front foot, a few off the back foot, caught on the crease a couple of times. But when Tim Southee walked out, I think I mentioned it at the time, I know he's got a plan on how he's going to play. He might get caught at slip, he might get an inside edge or an outside edge to short leg or the man in front, but he will get himself in a position to steer in line with the stumps. He will get a stride in forward. He will use his long levers and his reach and basically say to the bowler, you're going to have to spin it one past me because I'm going to try and play for my stumps, and then be aggressive. And I thought because of that, he had a plan. He came out. Ravindra talked him through the early part of it. He trusted him with singles. The rotation of strike was very, very good. And again, like Ravindra, every time the ball went above the eye line, I mean, Tim Southee, he's hit 92 sixes in Test match cricket, so we know he can hit a big ball.
Sarfraz Khan, then, he's a little bit of a figure of fun at times, isn't he? But he batted really well today. Kohli gave a chance. Ajaz Patel's going to be relieved tonight, by the way. He put down Kohli from the same bowler. So that's a good thing for New Zealand. Sarfraz Khan, of course, is going to be batting with KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant. There's going to be a lot of pressure on those two batters, and we still don't know, just how much flexibility and movement Rishabh Pant's going to have.
Yeah, and that's for me, KL Rahul's the key now. Jadeja's got the experience. Ashwin's probably going to do something similar to what Southee did. But KL Rahul is the glue that's going to hold them, for me, all together. I mean, Sarfraz and Pant batting together could be an absolute calamity. The way they run between the wickets, their decision making, they're very, very much instinctive players and off-the-cuff players. But both match winners and both got expansive games to go with it. So I think Sarfraz, ridiculed him yesterday because the other day because he had, one of the worst 3-ball ducks I've ever seen. He came in today, he was a little bit frantic, but he calmed down very, very quickly. He got to the boundary when he needed to. He rotated very, very good with Virat Kohli, and he was outscoring Virat Kohli for large proportions of that innings. So, fair play to him for seeing it all the way through till the end of the day, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to come out and try and get 3 figures when he comes out first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, well look, a big thanks to Daniel McCarty in New Zealand, as well as Jeremy Coney, Jarrod Kimber and Steve Harmison. You'll be able to watch Super Over with Jarrod Kimber and Steve Harmison on the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel very shortly. And thanks for joining us on the live stream as well. Thousands of you getting involved, and no surprise really that the numbers started to rise as that innings, or partnership I should say, of 136 between Sharma and Kohli started to progress, but still plenty of work to do for both sides ahead of day 4 of the first test of 3 between India and New Zealand. We'll be bringing it all to you on talkSPORT 2 and via the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel and on SENZ in New Zealand. Don't forget to subscribe to our Cricket YouTube channel, and you can find this podcast on the podcast app or wherever you get your podcast from. We'll be back tomorrow
on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.